Senior Chief Burst, you have a new assignment. In this new assignment, you will be undercover without the protection of a uniform. This new assignment will be far more important and at times require great courage. You're to single-handedly go forward into an unknown and hostile environment. You are to be a subversive, trumpeting the cause of all those that serve in uniform. You are directed to be so vocal that everyone refers to you as the old sailor, the Navy guy, the veteran, old Ironsides, whatever. So long as everyone knows that you served with pride in the United States Navy. You're directed to plant a flagpole in your front yard, and I don't have to tell you what to run up it. You'll have new duties also. It is now your duty to welcome home soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines who have served in far-off lands. It is now your duty to thank them for their service in a loud and vocal manner in as public a place as possible, as I am now thanking you for your service. It is now your duty to comfort their families wherever you find them. It is now your duty to encourage and support the youth of this country and share with them the values and strength of duty to country. It is now your duty to stand up, cross your heart, and sing the national anthem louder than those around you. It is now your duty to find retirees, veterans, and mobilize them in an underground to assist you in this new assignment. It is your duty to continue to be a proud Senior Chief Petty Officer of the United States Navy. Barry, if you should choose to embrace these new duties with the vigor that you have served your country in uniform, you will find a following far greater and a reward far sweeter than anything you can imagine. So Barry, your service does not end today, but shall continue on much, much longer. Thank you.
Senior Chief Captain, will you please escort Barry, David, and Jared Burst to the stage, please? To all who shall see these presents, greetings. To Barry, Jared, and David Burst. By the authority vested in me, it is my pleasure to express the grateful appreciation of the United States Navy to you for enduring the frequent and long separation from your father as he served his country. These months, indeed years, that he spent away from you constitute a clear and noble demonstration of his love for you and his family. You see, he left you in order to ensure that you inherited a safer world, a surer peace. To those who say one man cannot make a difference, I say wrong. Your father did. He made our Navy stronger and kept our nation safe. With his service to the Navy now complete, he will be able to spend more time with you in the future. The United States Navy thanks all of you and your father for enduring these separations, given this 25th day of June, 2005, MP Dubois, Commander, United States Navy Reserve. Commander Colpitts will now present Senior Chief Burst's Retirement Awards. Senior Chief Burst, front and center. Commander Colpitts is presenting a squadron photograph signed by many of Senior Chief Burst's shipmates. Commander Colpitts will now present Senior Chief Burst with a citation from the Governor of Louisiana, Governor Bronco. Commander Colpitts is also presenting Senior Chief Burst with a certificate of appreciation from our Commander-in-Chief, President George W. Bush. A fine sword, a brace of pistols, a rifle or musket, or maybe a sea chest of fine wood bound in brass was presented to remind the retiree of crews and ships he had served with. Chief Landon will present Senior Chief Burst's retirement shadow box on behalf of the VP-94 Chief Petty Officers Mess. Senior Chief Burst, your retirement shadow box depicts your career achievements in the United States Navy. It includes your personal awards and the uniform devices, indicating the ranks you progressed through as you worked your way up the advancement ladder. Additionally, the top portion is for the national flag, symbolic of the nation you have so faithfully served during your 24 years of service. And it comes with a flag certificate that reads, in tribute to the American fighting men killed during the attack on Pearl Harbor, the national ensign is flown daily 8 a.m. to sunset from a flagpole mounted to the battleship USS Arizona. The battleship, resting in 38 feet of water at the bottom of Pearl Harbor, is no longer in commission. It was stricken from the active list in 1942. Special permission was granted by the Secretary of Navy to fly the United States flag over the ship in memory of the brave men killed during the attack on the morning of December 7th, 1941. The flag accompanying this certificate was raised and lowered from this same flagpole on May 11th, 2005 at 0745, signed and authenticated this date, May 11th, 2005. Senior Chief Burst, would you like to address your shipmates?
I don't know if we're gonna have to bear with me. I don't know how good I'm gonna do this. I want to thank all my family and friends for being here, and also the men and women of Patrol Squadron 94. The grand adventure I call my Navy career started in the summer of 1978 when my mother cornered me one afternoon and told me that I was either going to college next semester or the military. Obviously, since I'm standing here, you know the path I chose. My reasons for joining the Navy was didn't have to sleep in a tent, 3 hot meals a day unless your ship was sunk, world travel. But the overall reason was I could grow my beard back after boot camp. Well, since 1985, we haven't been able to do that either. Actually, growing up, there was someone in my neighborhood who I think of as a stepdad. But at the time, he probably thought of me as his very own Dennis the Menace. He is a retired AO chief that instilled in me the ideals of the Navy. Moose, thank you. You heard the XO read my biography, so you know my first duty station was in California, then to Maine and Maryland, then finally ending it here in my hometown. Through that time, I have met and become friends with many outstanding sailors, and I truly believe that this is why I stayed this long. Don't get me wrong, I love the flying and the working on the aircraft, the travel, but most of all, I have to say, was the people. The Navy has changed a lot since I put on the uniform. Some changes were bad, most were good, but through it all, there were the people, the sailors, that make this Navy great. I keep thinking one day I'll write a book, but I would have to change so many names to protect the guilty, the innocent. I would need a book of names instead of a thesaurus. I have watched the sun rise and set in about 30 minutes in Iceland, over the sands of Saudi Arabia, through the haze of the volcanic ash of Mount Etna in Sicily, and places like Rota, Spain, Bermuda, that's where I sat out in Grenada, drinking a rum swizzle at the Swizzle Inn, Puerto Rico, and one of my all-time favorites, Australia. But all in all, it is the people that you will remember the most. So if you ever see a book titled VP Sailor, buy it, and you'll be amazed at what went on 10 to 15 years ago with no one getting any trouble. Plus, she'll be helping me out in my retirement. Well, it's time for me to say goodbye to a part of my life I will never forget and always be proud of. Sailors of VP 94, I salute you and say see you later, because we will meet again, and when we do, we will buy each other their favorite beverage and say, remember when so-and-so did this or that. We will laugh and say, yeah, they were crazy, but that is what you love about this job. So to VP 94 and all my friends, see you later, and come have a drink on me sometime.
Squadron. Attend. From the Department of the Navy, this is to certify that the Secretary of Navy has awarded the Navy Marine Corps Commendation Medal to Aviation Machinist Mate Senior Chief Barry B. Burst, United States Naval Reserve, for meritorious service while serving as Patrol Squadron 94, Selected Reserve Maintenance Senior Chief from 16 September 2003 to 11 July 2005. Senior Chief Burst's exceptional management of numerous key programs were the driving force behind the success of the maintenance department, enabling the safe and timely completion of over 10,000 maintenance actions and the implementation of 112 technical directives. His genuine concern for the development of subordinates resulted in a 25% advancement rate. Senior Chief Burst's professionalism and loyal dedication to duty reflected credit upon himself and were in keeping with the highest traditions of the United States Naval Service. Given this 24th day of April 2005 for the Secretary of the Navy, R.M. Harrington, Commanding Officer. Bosun, stand by to pipe the side. This order has been passed on naval ships from the 1500s through today. Spanish, French, English, and Dutch. Yes, all the navies of the world use the bosun, side boys, and call to bring aboard or send ashore all ship's company, officers, visiting officers, dignitaries, and VIPs. The side boys would haul on the ropes and raise or lower the boarding platform so officers would not have to climb the rat lines which are hanging over the side and used by the enlisted men when going ashore or coming aboard. This honor was extended to visiting officers, dignitaries, and port officials. It was not uncommon for the commanding officer of a ship to order up the jolly boat, a crew of 8 strong backs, side boys, and bosun, to send an old shipmate to his shore retirement. Never sail in naval ships again. All hands on deck was passed, speeches were made about great victories, battles fought upon the sea, raging storms weathered, and voyages to distant, strange lands, with ports of call others only dreamed about. For 24 years, this sailor has stood the watch. While some of us were in our bunks at night, this sailor stood the watch. While some of us were in school learning our trade, this shipmate stood the watch. Yes, even before some of us were born into this world, this shipmate stood the watch. In those years when the storm clouds of war were seen brewing on the horizon of history, this shipmate stood the watch. Many times he would cast an eye ashore and see his family standing there needing his guidance and help, needing the hand to hold during those hard times. But he still stood the watch. He stood the watch for 24 years. He stood the watch so that we, our families, and our fellow countrymen could sleep soundly in safety each and every night, knowing that a sailor stood the watch. Today we are here to say, shipmate, the watch stands relieved. Relieved by those you have trained, guided, and led. Shipmate, you stand relieved. We have the watch. Bosun, stand by to pipe the side. Shipmate going ashore.
Request permission to go ashore, sir.
Permission granted. Senior Chief Barry Burst, go ashore.